Andrew, what's good, man?
What's up, Joe? How are you?
Good, good. Just we got weather, Q-zip weather, loving that. Down in the
Yeah,
40s at night. So digging this weather right now, which is nice. But how's the game?
I play so bad. So I played Dogwood yesterday, and I got to hole seven, and
Okay.
I went
Which
up
one's
to
that?
hole seven's that par four. It's like the number two handicap. Um, but I get up to hole eight, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'm gonna record a video. I'm gonna say playing Dogwood. I duff my tee shot. I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me just hit a second one. I hook it way right. It goes OB. And so I literally just walk up, pick both my balls up, and I walk from eight to nine to the clubhouse. I didn't even
You
play
know what?
nine.
The thing about content, negative content hits as well. So
No, there's no way.
sometimes that's it happens. It happens. I played fairways on was it Thursday? Friday, Thursday, one of those days last week. And Ferris at Canton, and dude, the range was closed. They were like redoing a bunch of stuff, and you know this about me. I need the range. I got to figure out. I got to figure out what's happening. Is the driver going right today, or left today, or straight today, or what's going on? And it literally took me 9 holes. I shot a 47 on the front, and I mean, not breaking 45 on 9 holes. I mean,
That's a
it's not happening
brutal
all
day
the
for
time.
you.
It doesn't happen, especially on a short course like that, where I don't even need driver on a lot of holes. It was just really frustrating. And then the back nine, I shot three over. The
Oh
most
wow.
random 87 ever. So game's weird. Playing you got any or do you have any tee times for the rest of the week?
Oh yeah, I'm playing Bobby Jones today actually.
Nice.
I'm playing with Zach, Kayla's husband.
Yeah, yeah. Is it
He finally reached
Azalea
out.
or Magnolia today?
What's today? If it's an even day, isn't it
It's
Azalea?
the second. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Going to today.
Azalea today.
Cool. We'll have to we'll do an episode about Bobby Jones in the future. So I'm playing the Manor on
Yes.
Friday. Got a nice little invite to the Manor, so excited about that. And we'll have a fun little private course review, and we'll have fairways course review coming out. So you know, keep it on, keep it on. Well, yo, let's get into speaking of Dogwood. Let's get into today's episode.
Welcome to the ATL Golf's podcast.
Everyone, welcome back to the ATL Golf Podcast. This is episode three. I'm your host, Andrew Lee, and we've got our co-host, Joe Davis, the founder and owner of ATL Golfs. I just want to start off just thanking everyone for watching episode one and episode two. Lots of love, lots of comments, hearing a lot now. I did start my own little golf page on Instagram now, and just seeing everyone message me now because I'm not having to deny follow requests on my personal is really nice. And so just talking to you guys and, hearing what you guys have to say about the podcast has been really, really nice. So yeah, just continue supporting, like, comment, subscribe. And, just want to say I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, on the like, comment, subscribe side of things, we've had hundreds actually now of listeners. But our subscriber numbers, I think on Spotify is a little over 20. We're a little over 30 on YouTube. So right now, stop what you're doing, press pause, hit follow or subscribe, whatever the button is, and let's get those numbers up and continue growing this thing. And appreciate you, Andrew, for running the show here, man. Excited to get in episode 3. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's been super fun. I want to kind of stop right here and just talk. We do have a lot of segments and a lot of transitional spots. We don't have a sponsor for this episode, but if you are a business owner or know someone that's a business owner and want to put us in touch, we do have space for ads and sponsors. And so, yeah, just feel free to message me or Joe on Instagram.
Yeah, on that note, obviously the podcast is just getting going, so would be happy to bundle that into some of the other ad spots I do on the page, whether that's a course review sponsor, and those tend to get upwards of 10,000 views, whether that's a newsletter sponsor. So happy to work with you to make it worth your while to sponsor the podcast and also throw in a couple other spots for you.
Sweet.
All right, Andrew. Well, today, a course that is, well, actually near and dear to both of our hearts, but you are actually a member of Dogwood Golf Club.
I am.
So why don't you intro Dogwood before we jump into reviewing the course?
All right. Well, you guys, Dogwood is located in Austell, Georgia. It's about 25 to 30 minutes from Atlanta. I play nearly almost every day, so you guys know. It takes about that much time, and I'm coming from Candler Park, basically. It's a semi-private course. So Monday through Thursday, they're open normal hours to the public. Friday through Sunday, they're open after 2 p.m. to the public. So it's called a hybrid course where it's private some days or certain times and then public most of the time. It's owned by Brian Catrick and Andy Schival. It's got 4 par 3s, 10 par 4s, and 4 par 5s. What's interesting is 3 of the par 5s are on the front. And so it'll end up being 37 through the front and then 35 through the back. Tips out at 6,500 yards for a par 72. That's pretty much it about Dogwood. We'll get more into the course review.
Welcome to your next stop, the course review.
All right, you guys. And for this course review, we actually have the owner, Andy Schival, on.
Welcome, Andy. Andy, thanks for joining us, man. And if you wouldn't mind, just maybe telling us a little about yourself and how you came to own Dogwood.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. Took over Dogwood in 2004. I had 2 partners at the time, and we had a general manager. In 2010, I took over as general manager after the 2008 recession. So I came in to fix it. My background is business. I'm a CPA. I run 7 different companies, and I had a background in recreation. So I drew the short straw. So here I am as the everyday guy. So
That's awesome.
That's
yeah.
great. Well, Andrew, we love our course history, and as do our listeners. So, what do you got for us? And it's great to have Andy here to add even some more context there. But yeah, what are some interesting things you were able to find out?
So with Dogwood being semi-private, there's not a lot of info online. So all I found so far was that it was built in 1967. It was first a 9-hole course designed by Bill Bergen. The second 9 was added in 1971, meaning the course is pretty much almost 60 years old. It used to be a dairy farm, and there's actually still old farm equipment on the property. There's an old farm truck that sits on the back of hole 8 that has kind of become an icon of the course. Some
True.
some notable courses that Bill Bergens has also designed were Macklemore in Rising Fawn, Georgia, with the help of Reese Jones. He helped renovate and redesign Druid Hills in Atlanta. And he also helped build the Auburn University Golf Club. He's actually an Auburn graduate. So cool things like that. Andy, I want to know some more, anything you'd like to add? Any cool little history notes?
Yeah, actually, he wasn't the original designer. This, like you said, was a dairy farm. It's a 1,000-acre dairy farm. The Papa Mac, as he was known, his son-in-law convinced him to build that 9-hole track. They kind of did it themselves. So there was no real course designer. They did a heck of a job. We brought Bill Bergen in 2014, and he redid the greens complexes for us. So that's how that all went down.
Oh, and that's why that information's out there, because y'all switched to Bermuda in 2014.
That's correct. Yeah. Hired Bill and course crafters to come in, and Bill did the design, and course crafters did the work for me.
Papa Mac, has he designed any other golf courses?
No, he was a one-armed dairy farmer.
One-armed dairy farmer.
Yeah.
Holy
And he built a golf course?
He lost his arm in a piece of equipment. His grandson is my superintendent. His granddaughter-in-law is my assistant superintendent.
Oh,
They've been here since the inception.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, let's jump into our rating system. If that's cool, Andrew. For everyone, if this is your first podcast of ATL Golfs, our reviews are handicap based off of the price point. Does it make sense to, and also kind of style, right? So it wouldn't make sense to compare a par 62 course to a par 72 course, or a $40 course to a $140 course. So all of our rankings and reviews are handicapped based off of Dogwood's price point, which Andrew, remind what the kind of price points are for Dogwood?
Yeah. So during the weekday, it's gonna be $51.88 pre-tax, and then during the weekend, it'll be $61.32.
Cool.
Pretty
So
average.
56 range. All right. Great. Well, let's start off with the layout. Andrew, what's your take on the layout?
I give it an 8 out of 10, basically. I think it's really fun. I think, not super quirky, but interesting enough. It's, a lot of trees everywhere. So, I mean, every golf course is going to incentivize you to hit it straight. But for me, who plays a fade, it definitely favors me. I think there's only one hole where if you hit a draw, it can really favor you. And, there's lots of hazards, and it just makes it really interesting. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I would agree. It's not overly quirky. You got hole 2. It's got a little interesting bit to it, which we'll talk about hole 2 a little later on. But by and large, you hit your shot and, it's pretty straight away. I would say I would knock a few points off from the par threes. It's interesting that every par 3 feels a little bit differently, but I think on 3 out of 4, I'm hitting pretty much the same club. For me, that's like a 6 or 7 iron typically from the blues.
Okay.
The first downhill one, it's like 180, 190, but playing down to more like in that 170-ish, 170, 175 range. And then you have the first one on the back that's kind of around the same. And then you have the last one as well. So that would be my main gripe is 3 out of 4. I felt like I'm using the same club. So I would knock it a couple points down for that because I just really value variety in my par 3. So I would say more like a 6.5, 6.5 probably for me.
Okay. Dang. You hit a 6 or a 7 iron on that first par 3. I hit a 4 iron.
That's okay. That's okay. That's all right. All right. Andy, what's your kind of take on the other overall layout?
Yeah, I think it's a challenging layout. It's not overly long, but it is, as you say, it's not quirky. But for most players, it's kind of tricky for them. They see that scorecard at 6,500 or 6,400, and they're like, and then they get out here and they can't shoot par. So
Par. I can't break 100 half the time.
because you're right. There are some interesting holes where you can quickly hit a big number, and especially because just the trees come to play. The ones that come to my mind, to me, rounds live and die on 13 and 14. Like 13, if I'm in play, not a big deal. 14, if I'm in play, not a big deal. But I tend to hit it right. So 13 out of play, 14. I still haven't figured out the best way to play 14, honestly. So to me, that's
Bill lowered that 6 feet. That used to be probably a 30 or 40 degree slope on 14.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you couldn't hold the ball on it. So he lowered it tremendously. So that's why it looks like a catcher's mitt now.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. That's the one nice thing about that hole is you just hit it long and it's going to be somewhere up in that bowl to hopefully get up and down. But yeah, 13, 14, 15, those are interesting holes there. So cool. Well, let's go on to the next one here. Pace of play. I feel like pace of play has always been pretty decent Dogwood for me, personally.
Yeah.
I think that's the nice thing about the hybrid sort of semi-private model. And the fact that you guys aren't on Golf Now also helps with the traffic. Andy, how are the tee times spaced as far as times go?
10 minutes.
Beautiful. Yeah. So anytime you're up at 10-minute mark, that's gonna help pace of play. Andrew, I know you play it way more than I do, but would you say, generally speaking, it's pretty good?
Yeah, 100% above average. I gave it a 6.5. Ideally for me, I need 30-minute spacing just so I can find my ball and have plenty of time. But no, for the most part, definitely above average. Especially 10-minute tee times. A lot of courses now are doing like 6-7-minute tee times, and it's ridiculous. Anytime you play a course 6 times a week, you're gonna run into a day where it gets a little backed up. But 99% of the time, the pace is perfect. I can finish a round out there in 3.5 hours, even if I'm walking sometimes. So that's kind of unheard of.
Yeah, and it's very walkable. We don't mention that as much on the podcast, but I've walked walked Dogwood plenty of times, and it's not easy, but it's a good workout. But it's not like there's some courses that just are not walkable because of how far you have to drive from tee box to tee box. It's pretty convenient in that sense, and there's always folks walking out there. Cool. Let's get into tee boxes. One of Andrew's favorite topics here.
I'm so passionate about tee boxes.
The tee box stickler.
Yeah. Let's just give it a 5. I think it's average. I was gonna be a little bit more critical about it, but now that I've played a bunch of other places, like I've been on up slopes or down slopes, for the most part, the tee boxes are at Dogwood are really even. So you can always put a tee down and hit off of that. I think my biggest gripe is there's some areas that are just kind of dead. Tons of sand, and so. But other than that, I'll take even all day. The sand is firm, and you can definitely still hit a ball off of it. So just an average 5 out of 10 for me. How about you?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much right there in the same boat. And this is just a lot of courses deal with this in Georgia where you have so much tree cover. I think about tee box. I think the second tee box tends to suffer a bit, be pretty sandy. 4 tee box for sure, and that one's just totally in the shade. So I don't even know what you would even do about it. And you have some of those weird shorter holes like on 4 where you kind of just hit a 5 or 6 iron, so you're taking divots and it's beating up the course, and there's not probably much more you can do about it. But yeah, I'd say 5 is probably totally fair within this price range, and all things considered. But Andy, what's is there anything interesting about the kind of the tee box or things you guys deal with or working on, or what's your take on that?
It's a constant battle. You bring up 2 and 4. We've taken some trees down there, but I got to protect the back of 4 coming off of 2. So I can't take down all those trees right there. And it is in the shade, and that thing's been sodded 4 or 5 times.
Sure.
Wow.
6 is a big problem. I put that mat up there for the winter play, but a lot of people, it's not the great, but it's better than hitting off dirt. Can't grow grass in the wintertime. So that's a problem. So we try to you have people do that mat. That's the second mat that I've put down up there.
I like that mat. I actually prefer to hit off them. I've never seen the tee boxes up there. But sometimes when I'm just playing and messing around, I'll just be like, man, I just want to hit off this mat instead. I like the mat.
Yeah.
Mats are forgiving, right? They are. So but yeah, that shade is what it is. What do I'm curious though, I mean, if resources weren't an issue, like, and what would be the solution? And if you could just snap your fingers and do 3 things to fix your tee boxes, what would you do?
I think spend a little more time leveling them and maybe aerate them more often. Keep them softer. Right now we're in a drought. They are hard as a rock. There's no doubt about that. We do water them, but that only goes so deep.
Right.
I wish there was a solution for the shade. I've tried different shade tolerant grasses, but it doesn't work. So
I was wondering about that. If what other courses do, if there are particular shade tolerant grasses, or how you even go about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just sometimes that's some of the reality stuff. And again, going back to the price point, right? I've played courses that I've paid $90 for, and they had the same issue. And for those tee boxes, I'm giving a 3. Why? Because I paid $90 and I'm getting crap tee boxes, and my expectations are higher. If I'm paying $50 to play Dogwood, and there's a few that are sanded. All right, whatever. I paid $50. I didn't pay $100. So again, I think it's all about expectation management with some of these things for anyone that goes out and plays a course and how much they pay. Awesome. Let's get into fairways. Andrew, go ahead, man.
Another high ranking from me. I give them an 8. I really, really appreciate when fairways are even and then the rough is rough. But I also appreciate any course that'll mark grounds under repair. And you get out to Dogwood and you'll see the white spray paint on the grounds under repair. And it just, if you're playing for money, $1 a hole, you look at your buddy and you point down and you say, hey, there's white paint. I'm going to drop my ball. And there's no argument. There's no like tension now from your friend and thinking you cheated. And so I really appreciate that. So I give it a really solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much in that same boat. I feel like the fairways are always solid. Even even with some of the uphill holes, sometimes at other courses when you're going uphill and you got that Georgia clay poking through, you feel like you're hitting off of a rock sometimes. And I feel like Dogwood, they do a good job of keeping that up. And yeah, I mean, I can't, there was never a round out there where I'm like, look at this awful lie in the fairway. Sometimes I'm off the beaten path. That's a different story. But if you're in the fairway, you're usually getting off of really solid sand. So, Andy, what do you think you guys do well to kind of keep up that experience for your golfers?
The fairways have always been ranked pretty high. They put irrigation in the early 90s, I think,
Okay.
and they sprigged those fairways.
Hmm.
And we always do a spring and a fall fertilizer spread to keep those things as pristine as possible.
Nice.
So
Great. Cool. We are speeding right along here.
Yeah.
Greens. So it's great y'all switched to Bermudas in 2014. I say this on lots of podcasts, but I actually think that most Atlanta courses that are going to be around for a while are going to be switching to Bermuda quickly just because it just keeps getting hotter. And so bent grass greens are just going to continue to get worse off in the summer months. And, I find most courses are now thinking about, okay, what's it going to take? How are we going to switch? You look at different courses now that are looking at shutting down and redoing their greens. So, Andrew, what's your ranking on the Dogwood greens?
Similar to the fairways, just a solid 8 out of 10. You get out there. I think I want to touch on this. The fact that it's semi-private, all the members out there take so much pride in the course. You'll rarely ever find an unfilled divot from a member. You'll also see walkers carrying sand with them with whatever limited space they have. And the same thing with the greens. You see the pitch marks being repaired all the time. And even guys out there that I play with, repairing more than one. Or even if they didn't hit a green and rig, they'll repair a ball mark that they didn't create. And so I just give them a solid 8 out of 10. They're always rolling true. Sometimes they're a little slow, but I think, that can be helpful for most people.
Yeah. I think I'd maybe go just a notch lower, maybe 7.5, somewhere in there. And I think mainly that has, for me at least, I prefer a little bit faster. Again, they're always healthy, so there's not like dead spots, and it always kind of rolls pretty true. I think for me, and if it's slower, I always struggle getting into the hole anyways. So I think it's personal preference, I guess, in the day. But I would say that I've played on greens again in this price point that I felt, rolled roll a little bit faster, a little bit for my take. But again, always healthy, they're fine, and no complaints here. So, Andy, what's your take on y'all's greens?
it's been a challenge to go from having bent all those years and then to switch over to this. The past 3 or 4 years, they've really come along. So that it's been good. I don't like covering them in the wintertime. I can tell you that. That's about a 40 or 50 man hour project. So if I'm putting them down, I'm not taking them off the next day. I'm waiting until it's clear. I don't have the manpower to do it every day. So that's my knock on Bermuda. I did go with Mini Verde because they have a deeper root system. So I've only covered them once each year for the past 2 years. So
wow.
that's been a blessing.
That's nice about Atlanta. I mean, you might have the random cold snap where you feel like you got to cover them, but it's only going to be a handful of days at most.
Yeah. Last year was I think the third week of January. I had them shut down for about a week.
Yeah.
But
About it.
but it is a project. They have their issues too. I mean, yeah, you're not wilt watching, but you're sanding and other things, and sanding creates other problems for your equipment. So now you're sharpening more, and I only have 6 full-time people out there on my staff, and
Wow.
3 or 4 extra come in part-timers, to help on weekends or things like that. So I don't have the luxury of 50 people like the private clubs do. So
Yeah, makes sense. Um, Excellent. So let's continue on here.
Yeah.
Bunkers. Bunkers. Andrew, what's your you tend to find yourself in some bunkers, and sometimes you like to stay in them for a little bit.
Dude, oh my gosh, I played the other day and I was in a bunker every single hole. Like I could not escape. It
There's
was,
not that many bunkers on Dogwood.
dude,
Yeah.
it's like I would find them every single time. I've been struggling with my game so much lately, but just the mental torture I've been going through. Um,
Uh,
when I first wrote this up, I gave the bunkers like a 4 because I was mad. But I think they're 5. They're acceptable. They're fine. I thought about it more critically. And, they have sand and plenty of it. You won't be scraping rocks. So, if you go play in the Atlanta Municipals, how many times have you hit a bunker shot out of there and you hear just concrete scrape your wedge? And so that's what I'm kind of comparing it to is, you're going to hit sand every time. Another thing about the local rule, I heard from JR that you can just pick your ball up, rake, and place. Because, not everyone rakes their bunkers out there, or the bunkers are super sanded. And so I think that's another nice thing about it is little local rules like that to know. And so that has helped me stay out of the bunker a little bit. I usually get out on the second try at least. And so that helps me.
I would go a little bit higher. I think 5 is, again, there's sand. I'm not super picky about bunkers as long as there's sand, really.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's always different types of sand, right? So some bunkers are made to be fluffier, some are made to be a bit more packed down. As long as they're not, sometimes they just have to shut them down as hazards, essentially. So never seen that at Dogwood. I would say probably a 6.5. I mean, it's fine. There's bunkers, there's sand. I don't have to worry about it. Happy days. But I know bunkers can be a challenge. I hear it all the time from courses, and just because they're expensive to maintain and everything else comes with it. So, Andy, how have you guys managed to kind of keep your bunkers up, and what do you think about it?
Bunkers are a problem. That's one of Bill Bergen. He stays on me about wanting to come back and redo the bunkers to his style. So that's
What's his
not the
style?
cards. He has the slope. He grasses down into them. So
Okay.
they're more like a pit.
No,
Um,
don't let
so
him. Don't let him come back.
that creates another issue. Then you got to mow that grass. It's on a 90-degree angle. So yeah, I don't think so. Some of them, when we redid the course, like 2, the bunker really is too far away from the green because we pushed that green back 30 yards. So that bunker was there to protect that green. So it's really in the wrong place. I think we have enough. I don't want to add any more.
Okay, good. Please.
Andrew is a
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's enough where they're in places that make you think a little bit. And I actually think that bunker in front of 2 is interesting. It's a little bit of a mind bleep, as you're going for that approach, because you do have more room than you think. And if you are in that bunker, it's a hell of a shot. You gotta really get after it. And it adds a unique risk reward to that hole if you're gonna go for it, because if you're in that bunker, you're gonna have a time. So I don't know. I think that actually added a little bit of unique character to that hole that you don't really get on a lot of holes. But cool. That's interesting. All right, let's wrapping up here. Practice facilities. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, I'll give them maybe 4.5 out of 10. I'll be honest. I'm not a big range rat. I don't like hitting the range a lot. And then when I do go out there and hit the range, it's not my favorite experience. It feels a little cramped. The mats are just okay. The tee holders for them are pretty worn loose. I've kind of figured out that I can just put 2 tees in there, and then it'll hold it a little bit better. Because it just drops down, so you're playing from that one height. There's a small chipping area that's near the range, which I only just found out about maybe a month or 2 ago, because it is kind of off the beaten path. But there is a decent sized putting area, and I really like the putting area, and you can also chip up there. I've never seen a no chipping area. And the prices are really great. A small bucket of range balls is $9. A medium bucket is 11, and a large bucket is 15. And so anything where you can get a large bucket for less than $20, I think, is very value based.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, I think I'd agree with what you're saying there. Pretty much across the board. It does feel a little cramped. I've had a couple occasions where like I have a wide driver swing anyways, and I'm like, I feel like I'm literally about to take this guy's head off behind me. I need to move down one or two. And I don't. Angie, do y'all ever open up the grass on for regular play, or is that more just kind of set aside for tournaments and that sort of thing?
I think. I mean,
No, it's open Monday. I'm sorry, it opens in May,
Okay.
and I shut it down around the first week of August because of the member guests coming up to get it to grow back in. But I only open it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when it's for members.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
That makes sense
okay.
then. Cool.
That's good
And
to know.
public can't use the range unless they're playing golf on Saturdays and Sundays. So I try to keep it. I wish I could do more with that. They didn't have a range here for years. That was tennis courts. There
Oh,
was
wow.
there was no driving range. They took out the tennis courts to put in the range, and that was in the late '80s, I believe.
Oh,
So
cool.
I just don't have any more space. Is the problem?
Yeah. I mean, I'm, and then, yeah, that little chipping area that's right next to the range, I've used it once. I was like, I mean, why do this when I can just go over to the putting green where everyone else chips anyways? And it's a much better experience there. It would
Well, I'll let you
be,
in on a secret on that. That's really just a nursery green for me in case I ever have a problem that I
okay.
can strip some grass off. So yes,
Oh,
it's there because you think it's a chipping green, but it's really for me it's a nursery green.
Ah,
that's cool to
So
know.
yeah. I do like that the putting area is next to first tee. I always hate when the putting green is like on the opposite end, and I just love the convenience of that always. But yeah, I mean, as far as what I would say when I'm thinking about some of the better practice areas, I'm thinking about, okay, is there obviously a better place to chip? I'm thinking about, is there a bunker area to chip, just so I can learn how these particular bunkers act. Which I know there's not a bunker practice area at Dogwood. And then the icing on the cake is typically, for me, the big thing is always grass. So if it's a grass tee that the public can access, then for me that ranking is going to be good. So I would say you said 4 out of 10. Again, understanding that that's not meant to be a chipping green and really just the main green where you can chip around. It's kind of that practice area. I might knock it up a couple, maybe like 5.5, 6, somewhere in there. If that's kind of the case. And that'd probably be above average because I mean, at least there is a range, which there's public courses that don't have ranges, right? At least there is an area to chip. At least there is a decent putting green that's by, but obviously there's ways of making it that, compared to other courses could be better. So that'd be, I think I'd probably be in that 5.5, 6 range for that.
You're making me look bad, Joe. I'm gonna walk into Dogwood tomorrow and be like, yeah, like we can't find you in the system, Andrew.
Now what's gonna happen is Andy's gonna be like, "Oh, see what a better practice facility. You know what? Can you be here Saturday morning at 7:30?
Oh,
We got
man.
some things for you. We got a rake."
Yeah. I would just fill the bunkers. That's what I would do. Yeah, they're doing secret projects.
Love it. Cool. That's good to know. Let's go to value, and then we'll do kind of recommendations there, Andrew. So yeah, value for you, Andrew. What'd you put at?
I give it an 8 out of 10. It's one of those places where even if I wasn't a member, I'd probably play there more often than not. So for me, the value was just there because I played once, and then that same day, I walked into the pro shop and I talked to David Elliott and I said, "Give me a sign up form. I'm joining." I don't care how much it is. It's super reasonable. It's around that $200 mark a month. And so it was like no questions asked. If you're playing 6 to 7 rounds a week like I am, you'll get the full year in a month. And so I definitely get my money's worth out there. But even for $50, $60, I can't even imagine anywhere else I'd want to play, especially with how that place is kept up and how consistent it is.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I think that's about right. I might go a 7. out of 10. I'm just thinking about some other course reviews and other things I've done, paying that 50 to 60 range. Rates went up probably in the last 2-ish years. And I don't think there used to be a kind of a walking twilight, like $30 or something like that. And maybe that's still available for call, but I know at least online, it's pretty much, it's just the same, no matter if you're teeing off at 5 or teeing off at 12. So, again, probably you can call in and get different rates, but at least how it's publicly facing, when you go to book a tee time on the website, it doesn't really start to shift later in the day. So that's probably my biggest critique, I would say, of kind of the value of it. And so I would knock it down to like a 7 out of 10. But everything you said, I'm right on board with. Love going there. I think it's got a little bit of a hidden gem because, again, it's not on Golf Now. And I think when people go out there, they're pleasantly surprised on the experience. So, Andy, I'm curious, kind of what I'm saying there about the twilight rates and the walking rates, all that kind of stuff. Is that intended as far as like how it's supposed to be perceived, or did y'all make changes on kind of price points or that sort of thing?
Yeah, I took away the twilight rate. People are paying the full rate, so the tee sheet's full.
There you go.
So it's just a business decision. It's like, why am I doing this?
Hey, that's totally fair. Totally fair, right? Hey, look, it's supply and demand. If they're willing to pay, then they're willing to pay. And but I think to my point though, if we're talking about value, right, that's just going to take them off, and it's fine. It's a business decision.
I mean, most people, a lot of courses today are doing dynamic pricing. So
pretty much, yep.
I had dinner with guys from PGA Sawgrass. Their rack rate is 600, I think, 550, 600. Mm-hmm. They were getting 900 last year.
Yeah. And it goes both ways. It goes both ways. So I know, pull example, the Frog, for example, high end, you're paying $90, but that's like X number of tee times, but you can also sometimes find it for $35. So it's like, so what it ends up being in the end, averaging, I don't know. But anyways, that's interesting. No, and look, supply and demand, it's just business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
and the twilight piece was that people were staying around anyway, keeping the staff here till the wee hours because playing with a flashlight out there. So they're still getting 18 holes in. So just charge them for it.
Totally get it. Makes sense. I do miss it though. I do miss that little. I'd pay that $30 walking Twilight 9. I'd love. Man, if I could get on the back nines, even better, because that finishing hole as the sun's setting, it's one of the best. One of the best. So makes sense, man. Yeah. So I think recommendation wise, yeah, I think Andrew and I both recommend Dogwood. If you haven't played it before, head out there, check it out. You'll definitely be happy with the value you're getting for what you're spending, and you'll have a good time. I would say vibes wise, if you haven't been able to figure it out, and I wrote this in my review a few months ago, is Dogwood is one of those spots where it's very laid back atmosphere. Have a beer, play some golf, enjoy the company. You got members that have been there forever. You're going to get above average course conditions, and it's going to be a chill round. No one's going to yell at you for not having your shirt untucked. You're not going to have anyone that makes you feel uncomfortable because of anything, really. It's very welcoming. And so I think that's one of the best things about Dogwood is it really feels, I'm sure even more so for you, Andrew, it's very homey, right?
Oh my gosh, just so much.
Feel like you belong. And I think that, there's a place for the place where I go and I need to tuck my shirt in and I need to make sure that I'm dressed the part and act and know all the rules and take my hat off inside and all. There's a place for that. I appreciate that. But also there's a space for spots like Dogwood as well that I think we all appreciate.
Yeah, it definitely feels like home. I go in there to eat all the time. I'll just hang around. I know a bunch of the members now. I know most of the staff now too, and just everyone's saying, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?" I've joined up with members who have been there for 10 plus years, and they're so welcoming, and no one's gonna tell you to yell at you or whatever like that. And so yeah, I really like to just call Dogwood home now.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Well, let's do something fun here. Let's talk about our favorite holes, and then we'll do a little bit of a course management tips for the number one handicap. So, Andrew, what's your favorite hole?
It's got to be hole 2. It's my favorite. I think it's just fun because you can either be aggressive and take a driver or a 3-wood and bend it around those trees and hopefully get it out into that fairway. Or, you know, you can play it safe and hit an iron, and you'll set yourself up for a second shot that hopefully can be a 3-wood or a 5-wood to get it close. But hole 2 is kind of my favorite because I got my first ever eagle there. And that was just a couple weeks ago. And so that was like the most electric feeling. I teed off with a 3-iron, and then I hit a 5-wood, and it went past the green. And then I holed out with a chip. I didn't even have to putt. And so first ever eagle on a par 5 out there just has to be my favorite hole. It'll live in my memories forever. What about you, Joe? What's your favorite?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I haven't necessarily played this hole extremely well, but I really like 15. I think it takes a lot. It's got obviously got the forced carry of the water for your approach shot, so you got that little added nervousness. The tee shot is very forgiving. I've been over on the right hand side plenty of times, too many times that I like to admit, but it's still, you can still make it work over the trees, or you have to decide to kind of lay up and put yourself in a better position. So, and then that green is tough. It's always fun though. I feel like no matter the pin placement, I'm always having to really, really dial in, you know, the slope and, you know, where I'm going to be coming from. And it's always interesting putting on that green. Andy, what's your favorite?
Oh, guys, I haven't played golf in many, many years. I'm just a village idiot. So,
I love that he's so passionate.
Oh, that's awesome. That's okay.
now I have a pinched nerve and golf aggravates it.
Ooh.
So hey, I sucked at it when I did play. And now it's like, well, why am I going to do this? Because I'll wind up at the chiropractor. So
Makes sense. Well, how about this? If I could snap my fingers and all of a sudden you're perfectly healthy and you could go out and but you can only play one hole at Dogwood, what
Yeah.
hole would you pick?
I like 7. Straight, small green. It's challenging. Got the bunkers.
Well, we could not have drawn up the segue better because that's actually handicap number 1, which was surprising to me. So we'll talk a little bit about some course management for that hole real fast. So, yeah, you're right. Short hole. I was surprised to see it was handicap 1 because it is short. It's 360 yards from the tips. You have 2 bunkers on the right, and you have this bunker on the left. And it's trickier than that because you're like, oh, I just need to take the bunkers on the right out, so I'm going to keep it left. But if you hit a straight ball left, there is a sneaky little creek hazard thing that runs adjacent to you just don't know is there unless you've played. And so it ends up being really tricky on the tee shot to get right. The other thing that makes it tricky is that green is so slender. And so if you're giving yourself a super delicate pitch shot, if you mishit that, you're either going to be short, it's going to roll back down, or if you're long, good luck, because things get really sketchy if you go long because that creek actually continues around the back of the green. So it's one of those holes where at first glance, like, okay, a few bunkers, and I think to cover the longest bunker from the tips is only like a 230-yard shot. So you're thinking driver, but then if you hit driver decent and you're you hit a driver 260, you're in that delicate 90-yard shot on a slender green, which is going to be challenging. So for me, if I was going to give some course advice or course management tips for someone, what I would say is, what's your favorite wedge number, first of all? Because I feel like because of the slenderness of the green, you're going to want to have a full shot in. So that way it's landing. You're not having to hit some delicate pitch shot that you might skull over the green. Give yourself a full wedge in. And just enough to cover that far bunker on the right. So to me, you're hitting ideally a little bit of a fade off of the bunker on the left that ends up at around the 240 line. So probably a 3-wood for a lot of folks. And again, you're fading away from that water hazard on the left, which is ideal. And that should give you about 120 yards in, 50-degree pitch and wedge, depending on who you are. And I feel like that's the ideal way. If you get too aggressive, you just put yourself in a weird position. Andrew, how do you like to play that hole?
I do that. I fade it, aim left, and I fade it to the right. Hopefully get past those bunkers. And you know what? I'm okay with missing left or right there because it is that slender green. But if you're pin high and you're missing left or right, you have a lot of green to work with then at that point.
Mhm.
I always struggle if I'm hitting it short. I struggle really hard because I'll either skull it or I won't hit it hard enough, and so it ends up either going right over the green or it rolls right back to me. And I found out that for me at least, if I miss right or left, there's a little bit more green to work with, and can help me save par or even just maybe hopefully get out with a bogey.
I think that's a really good point because depending on the pin placement, because that green runs from like kind of left to right. So if the pin placement's on the left, the miss is right, essentially. You don't want to get short-sided left and then it bounce down and everything else. So paying attention where that pin placement is, I think, is key. And then again, giving yourself that full shot in to hopefully hold that green, or worst case scenario, be a little short, a little right, a little left, and hopefully get up and down from there. So, Andy, anything you want to add to that one?
No, I appreciate you guys. I think it was a fair assessment. We're always striving to do better, and we take all comments as constructive criticism, and look forward to doing more with the place.
Love it. Yeah, Andy, thank you so much for taking some time to help us to be part of this and give us your context and information. I think our audience really has learned to appreciate just the unique challenges that the typical golfer have no idea about. And I think it really helps people appreciate, I think, what it takes to run a golf course even more, and be a little more forgiving when that tee box is in the shade, is full of sand, instead of people out and getting angry and writing a negative review. It's like, well, it's in the shade. What can you? There's just not a lot.
Possible.
Yeah.
They just don't understand the complexities of the business side of this.
Yeah, most people don't.
I don't think many of them spend $85,000 for a lawnmower. So
Highly unlikely.
My dues are going up.
Highly.
You're clairvoyant.
But yeah, thank you, Andy.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
See ya.
That was cool. Really like Andy. He was. I really appreciate what he said, because I know you and I, every time we go into one of these conversations, like, how are they gonna handle the critiques?
Well, as a member, I was super nervous. I'm glad I still have a membership, I think.
Yeah, no, and like you said, it's fair, right? And you and I were talking beforehand, and even said, like, if they can't handle some constructive criticism, then they're probably in the wrong business, because that's just part of running a business. Even my little ATL golfs, guess what? I got people that don't like my opinions. Oh no.
Oh, no.
It is
I
what
don't
it
know.
is.
With the limited golf in Atlanta, sometimes it feels like it. I mean, it would be detrimental for me.
Right. But no, I really appreciated what he said there at the end, and it was a fair review, and I loved some of the insights that he was able to give on different things, and I think our audience will appreciate that as well. So
I thought it was
awesome.
super funny.
Well, yeah. What do we need to wrap this thing up here, Andrew?
You want to talk about the newsletter prizes again? For the month of October.
Yeah, good reminder for folks. So if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, newsletter.atlgolfs.com is where you can go to subscribe. It's a free once a month newsletter. It recaps the month that was. So here's all the course reviews we did last month. There is subscriber exclusive content that I include in there. And then there are referral prizes. And so for this month, if you get 2 friends to sign up using your specific referral link, you get a free hour at Green Office Golf. It's a indoor spot, kind of quaint. I think I have 2 bays, so it's really private. You can go in there, and it's not going to be loud and like some of the other indoor spots, and really focus on your game. And if you get 3, you get a tee time at either Cobblestone or Heritage Golf Links on the house. So shout out those guys for partnering up with us this month. Golf is expensive, and so this is my way of, 1, saying, hey, thanks for supporting the newsletter, and 2, hopefully saving you a couple bucks on a golf round this year. So reach out to me if you need any information regarding your referral link. Just DM me or DM Andrew, and I can get it to Andrew. But get your referral link, send it across. One little note is that when you're referring someone, they sign up, they have to hit confirm on their confirmation email. This is just a way to make sure someone doesn't use bots to get new and get free tee times, all that kind of stuff. So they do have to hit the confirmation email they get when they subscribe. Otherwise, it doesn't count. I have so many pending subscribers, and so where people don't do that. So make sure you tell your buddies to take care of that. So, but yeah, I think that's it for the newsletter. Again, sponsorship opportunities on that. We would love to. That kind of helps support what we're doing here. If you like what we're doing, you run a business, you want to advertise to golfers in Atlanta specifically, which is a great demographic for almost any business. I'm trying to think of a business that wouldn't be attractive to advertise to Atlanta specific golfers. So hit me up, and would love to work with y'all on something. So I think that's it for today, Andrew.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching episode 3.
Wait, speak pipe. Do we have a question this time around?
I do not this time around.
Oh, well, then we got to come up with something. We got to come up with something. On the spot, folks. We're gonna come up with a speak pipe question of the for the next episode to talk about. Last episode it was about I think keeping you warm. I think in the winter months. I think people haven't thought about that yet, so they didn't want to partake. It's not cold yet. I don't want to think about that. So let's go with something people get passionate about.
What do people like?
What do people hate?
Yeah, what do people hate? What do I hate?
How about this? Let's give people a chance to brag. Call in, let us know your best shot of your life. Best shot ever. Hole in one, all the details. We know your spouse probably doesn't care that you hit an amazing 235 yard 3-wood to 3 feet, but we do. We want to hear your best ever shot that you can think of. Maybe it was a random hole out, whatever. And we want all the details. Weather, wind, what club you used, well, you're on a slope. Give us the absolute breakdown of your best shot ever, and we'll pick the best one to highlight on the podcast. And you know what? Just for funsies, I have a $50 Starbucks gift card. I'll give you a $50 Starbucks gift card as well if we pick your best ever shot. And listen, it's golf. We have the honor system. Please don't make up something. Come on. Let's honor system in golf, right? We're all trying to do the right thing. We want to have it be legit.
Yeah, these guys are gonna start sandbagging the speak pipe.
Gotta get that $50 Starbucks.
Yeah. Well, Joe, if you're gonna ask them, let me ask you, what was your best shot in golf that you can remember?
Ooh, best shot of one of the best shots. So there are two that come to mind. My first ever eagle. You were talking about your first ever eagle. My first ever eagle is hole 8, City Club Marietta. I was in. I got lucky. So it's a dogleg right par 5. You're hitting it through a chute, and then the fairway takes it right. So I hit a perfect fade, caught the speed slot. It was about 180 out. So obviously I'm going for it. I'd only been playing golf probably a year and a half at that point. It was lucky. Anyways, ended up in the greenside bunker, just right of the green. Now that green has a crazy slope that starts from the middle of that green and heads down, and the pin was like on the slope. So
oh my God.
I had to, and my ball was on the downslope of the bunker. It was, I mean, crazy. Like I should have never even had a chance, but I picked it perfectly. I watched it roll, and then it went out of view, and then it started catching the slope, and then I saw it, and it dropped. And I lost it.
That's electric.
Absolute lost it. I was playing this random kid. I was picking him up, and
That's awesome.
literally just random kid who got. What's wrong with that?
That's awesome. You picked up a random kid. That's awesome.
I was probably like pumped. 20. And yeah, if you're out there, I don't remember your name at all, but thank you. For some reason, your vibe helped me make my first ever eagle. So I'll save the second one for another day. But what's your best?
Oh, my best. This was probably a month ago. I was playing Bobby Jones, super packed. And I get up to this par 4, and this guy's been chirping us for like the last 2 or 3 holes. Like just being, excuse my French, but he's being an absolute dick. He was just telling us to hurry up, trying to tell us the rules of golf. And he pulls up on us on this hole at Bobby Jones. And I'm just getting ready to tee up. And I'm telling him, I'm like, listen, dude, like, just get away from us, all right? And he's sitting there watching me hit my tee shot. And these guys are on the green on the par 4. And so I go, well, they're on the green. This guy's watching me. So I'm just going to hit, whatever. I pipe it. And it rolls up to the green. I start screaming, 4. And it just felt so good because it rolls up to the green, and the guy who's been chirping us the whole time goes, oh, wow. And that just shut him up. He started offering us beers on like hole 7 or 8. But I was just like, dude, just like get away from me. But it just felt so good to absolutely smoke a ball in front of that guy. And so that was my best. That trumps the eagle.
That's awesome.
I'm petty, by the way, guys.
By the way, just as a side note, maybe next podcast it'll be what's your craziest
Who's
golfing with a random craziest story from the golf course, like experience, like a random coming up on you or whatever. So we'll pin that. We'll do that next podcast. So go ahead and be thinking of your best stories from because there's always if you're as a single going out, I can do that a lot actually. You never really know what's going to happen. So let us know your best crazy stories from the course. We'll do that next pod.
Yeah. Thank you guys again for watching episode 3. We appreciate the love. Please, please, please comment. If you're listening to the whole podcast, I love hearing back from everyone. It only takes, less than a minute to leave a comment, but I love to hear it, and we love to hear any criticism or any critiques and things, we could do better. So, kind of review the podcast basically. As we do course reviews, give us the reviews. And so
that's it.
Thank you guys again.
Smash subscribe right now. Press pause, hit subscribe, share it, whatever you got to do. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you next time.
See ya.